Downs Gaming and Hotel, we work extremely hard to make your experience here convenient, safe, and fun.
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We love it!
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We don't just like Batavia Downs Gaming, we love Batavia Downs Gaming.
Batavia Downs Gaming, Hotel, and Racetrack. We not only want you to like coming here, we want you to love coming here.
Folks, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Just in case you are dumb, blind, stupid, and or deaf, this is not the show where you're wrestling with your conscience, not the show where you're wrestling with your budget. This is Wrestling with Emotion, brought to you by the region's premier gaming and entertainment destination, Batavia Downs. Also, get to your local OTB this Saturday with the Derby coming up. I got some picks that I'll have waiting for you guys. And as always, we're here to talk the world of professional wrestling. And boy, do we have some stuff to talk about. I'm going to get the panel in here. We got our self-proclaimed head of the table, Michael Partham, the prophet, Rob Ryan, and your friend, my friend, our friend, Jake Micah. Gentlemen, it's good to see you. Another crazy week in the world of wrestling. What else is new? Let's go around the horn. Obviously, you know how this works. Favorite storyline in the world of professional wrestling? Shoot.
Mikey, you would.
No rush. No rush.
No rush at all. You know what? I don't know if this is my favorite in professional wrestling, but this is my favorite thing I've seen this in the last week. Lyra Valkyria on Monday was an absolute superstar. The Becky Lynch promo coming out was great. Great piece of business. I attacked Bailey. I'm an asshole. XYZ, blah, blah, blah. It could have been the most paint by the numbers, young baby face taking on overbearing heel thing. But Lyra she's got some spunk, and she's great at this. Just great instincts. She's been somebody that has been talked about as someone who could be at the top of the the world of women's professional wrestling eventually in the future. And she's been great in ring, but I've been waiting to see it, waiting for her to connect with something for me. And that was it. I saw it. So I loved that. There's a lot of great stuff that we're going to get into from Monday and from Friday, but for WWE specifically. But Lyra, she showed out. So I'm going with that.
Yeah, that was probably one of the better promos I've seen in a long time. But my favorite's got to be this new faction. I know we're going to get into it a little later. But, I mean, with Seth, Braun, and Paul, who knows where they could take this? The first time they were together was kind of like one of those all-show storylines, which was fantastic, and it all just made sense. So it's really exciting to see where that faction goes in the future.
Yeah, I thought it was intriguing to see the interaction with Seth and Sami Zayn, given their long history going back a ways. And basically Seth making him the offer that he supposedly couldn't refuse. And, of course, we knew he was going to refuse it by the end of the night. I can see as soon as they announced next year's Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, we had an inkling that Sami Zayn was going to be pegged for that. But now we have an idea of who his opponent might be and what they might be fighting for. Because much as we love Jey Uso, I don't think he's going to be long for that world title. I think Seth is going to have his eye on that once he gets done with all of his current enemies and obstacles that are in his way. But I would say one of my favorite things is something we should probably get into as a group. John Cena, Randy Orton's face-to-face promo, first time in many, many years. And I think we might look back at the John Cena, Randy Orton rivalry with a little bit of rose-colored glasses, because with maybe one or two exceptions, they weren't exactly, matches of the year type candidates. And of course, they ran it into the ground completely. But, a little bit of nostalgia, not unlike almost a year ago, seeing The Rock and John Cena face to face. We got tired of that feud after a couple of years, but seeing them in the ring together was surreal. And now seeing John Cena and Randy Orton facing off, of course, with Randy being the good guy and Cena being the bad guy, is just a mind F, if you will.
Yeah, I want to touch on that real quick, because not only do we have this rivalry coming here again, Randy Orton blatantly acknowledged the fact that the roles are completely reverse for basically the first time ever. And John Cena,
unless you go back to maybe OVW way back in the day, but yeah,
John Cena playing the role the role correctly that he's supposed to right now, goes and says, and I quote, "I raised these children better than any of you parents ever had." Basically, John Cena saying, "Fuck them kids." John Cena, do we agree with him before we get into the actual rivalry aspect? As a kid that grew up watching John Cena preaching hustle, loyalty, and respect, I kind of feel him. He raised a lot of these kids, and probably better than some of the parents. You saw how that kid was acting in the front row. That's just negligible.
I can tell you a parent he's definitely better than that scumbag Rey Mysterio.
Yep,
definitely.
That's a scumbag. Yeah,
deadbeat.
I mean, the prophet agrees. He raised a lot of children out there in this country and the world. Not even just country, the world over the last 15 years. Or longer than that, 25 years, or whatever it was.
Quarter of a century.
Yeah, I mean, he did everything for all these people, and what they have to repay him is now booing him. You know, that little kid in the front row, that kid needs some discipline. Unacceptable behavior. You are looking at the GOAT in the ring. You have to give him respect. He is the last real champion, and we're going to respect that because you know what he preaches? Hustle, loyalty, respect. He has the hustle, and I have the loyalty and respect for him.
Amen.
Let's not forget another little kid in the front row that was saying, "I love you, John," before Cena basically said, "I am breaking up with all you Let's Go Cena people." So as far as I'm concerned, he had it coming. That kid with the middle finger. It's just you reap what you sow. But you know what? Randy was saying, maybe if you had some kids, it would do you some good. Randy in his older years is not, he was about to go to, the voices in his head when he was about to face Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, but that was not to be. But he's a much, older, wiser, almost a locker room leader in his old age. And maybe that has a lot to do with the fact that he has responsibilities now at home. And maybe he has sort of a point. But of course, John had a little bit of a point by saying, "I've been raising all of your kids, going, making wishes and meet and greets." And you know what? I got a bit of a hot take on why John Cena doesn't have kids.
Uh-oh.
Because he's
infertile?
No. And I mean, it was the reason that he and Nikki Bella's proposal at, WrestleMania 35 didn't work out. He ultimately came around to marriage, but he couldn't, say yes to having kids. Yes, he has been essentially raising everybody's kids. He's been Superman on screen. He's been a role model where maybe some parents fell short of that. He has basically gotten all the best, all the admiration, all the adulation, all the affirmation from every kid that he's ever met, from 5 to 15 or whatever age they, start to get tired of John Cena. He's got nothing but praise, and he gets to meet so many of them, and he gets to have so much, joy and happiness out of them. He gets to be every kid's fun uncle, but he hasn't gotten around to the responsibilities of being an actual parent raising a kid from day one. And that takes, you know what it takes? Actual hustle, loyalty, and respect. Because sometimes you don't get respect from your kid. Sometimes you do have to hustle, and sometimes you don't get respected. So maybe he just finds it easier to be everybody's hero rather than be someone's dad.
Wow, those were strong words.
I'm not feeling it.
Also, I couldn't help.
What?
I couldn't help but think when Rob brought up the last real world champion. Every time I've been hearing this on TV, I keep thinking of the real world's champion. Is there a chance that because we know what's going to happen in this farewell tour at some point, right? Is there a chance that Punk plays into that? Is it just one of those subtle, noticeable, one of those subtle acknowledgments from AEW?
Yeah, it'll be a subtle, winking and you'll miss it, or winking if you know references. But he'll definitely be referencing the time that he tried to walk off with the championship back in 2011. And oh, by the way, they crowned a new champion, just like Cena said, you're going to do, but I'm going to walk off with the actual title. Well, guess what? One of Cena's championship wins, if we're counting that, I'm pretty sure they did count it, was him beating Rey Mysterio on that Raw 8 days after Punk walked off with the title. So does that win count? Because that's not the title that CM Punk walked off with that has all the legacy with it. So is John Cena a 17-time world champion or a 16-time world champion according to his own logic?
Shenanigans! Shenanigans!
That's
Come on.
that's what we need though. We need Punk just to bring up the illegitimacy of Cena's claim to 17 world titles. That needs to be the storyline. Punk needs to be like, bro, you didn't win 17. You're at 16, barely 16.
Well,
And
at
you
least
know where they're
according to
gonna
Cena's
fight.
own logic, but go ahead.
You know where they're gonna fight. There's a pay-per-view next month that their most historic match was at. I think we're getting this sooner than later. It's got to be at Money in the Bank, right?
Oh,
Well, I mean, he's got the whole Heyman faction to deal with. I don't know if that's going to be resolved in a month or so.
That's true. That's true. Unless they do this draft in May that's been rumored for so long, which we haven't had any confirmation of, but they very well could go on Backlash Saturday night and be like, the WWE draft starts Monday night, and then we're off to the races. So who knows?
That seems like a SummerSlam match to me, in my opinion. But
I think they might save Roman Reigns for SummerSlam.
A lot of options. I mean, we're only just getting started on the Cena farewell tour, and we're all here for it. Before we get into the next topic, which we've kind of transitioned to already, we have some train wreck trivia. All right, boys. The last time John Cena and Randy Orton fought on a pay-per-view or PLE for a world title was when?
Oh, for a world title.
Oh, one-on-one,
I knew it.
Yeah.
Thought I knew it.
2014 Royal Rumble?
I do believe they fought then. I think that was a title contender or just a
one-on-one. Randy was the champion, right?
Was it?
Okay. I just checked.
He was the champion going into WrestleMania 30, and Daniel Bryan beat him in a triple threat, of course.
14. Okay, so but it was John. That was. Oh wait, hang on. What am I looking at here? No, that was.
Yeah,
Royal
that was
Rumble?
that was the match where they were trying to get the crowd into it, and they started doing each other's finishers, and the crowd was just chanting all a bunch of different stuff because they were so.
Yep. No, you are correct. You are correct. That is the one. Partham right off the rip. He even had me on it. Okay,
but their last singles match was Hell in a Cell, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? 1-on-1 for the number one contender for the WWE title. It was the year of Rollins.
Hell in a Cell 2014. John Cena defeated Randy Orton to become the number one heavyweight title contender. Yes,
that's when they had a set, or Dean Ambrose and John Cena leading into that pay-per-view had a contract on a pole match. Guys, contract on a pole in the corner, and the winner got to fight Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell. And then Dean Ambrose won, picked to fight Seth Rollins, and they're like, Cena, since you lost, we feel bad. You get a number one contender match for the world title against Randy Orton. That's your consolation. And we're like, what the fuck? What's going on here? We have it so good in 2025. That's all I'm saying.
Wait.
Who the fuck wrote this bullshit?
For reference too, before that 2014 matchup, the last time they fought for a title,
the Prophet loves the people as well.
On a pay-per-view before then, October 25th of 2009, a 60-minute Iron Man match where Cena defeated Randy Orton to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Or was that?
Yeah, that was at like Payback or something, right?
Yeah, that was indeed.
Yeah.
Crazy times, dude. I'm just looking at this list. I mean, Cage Match having like such a long list dedicated to just Randy Orton and John Cena's title feud should be everything you need to know about it and why you should be tuned in whenever those two are getting in the ring together. But I will transition to next because we've been talking about it. New faction in town. We break people, the past, present, future. Like what are we going with here? Is Heyman the ultimate decider? What does he call Seth Rollins? We got the best friend, we got the tribal chief. What's Seth Rollins? Just like
feels like
the future.
Feels like Seth Rollins is back to like this is like it is Monday Night Messiah-esque, but it's not as turned up cartoonish as Vince would probably want it. It kind of feels like doesn't it feel kind of like cult leadery, like Charles Manson-y kind of vibe he's going for. I feel like that's what we're looking at here.
And Sammy was the perfect person to point out his hypocrisy, trying to take down the bloodline and essentially forming his own.
And I mentioned it earlier, but I just loved how they did this whole thing on Monday. They started off with the three of them, Braun, tan as hell, Heyman tan as hell. And then Seth obviously has like that cult leader you were saying, where he's kind of like teaching like Braun. It's kind of like Braun's like one of those like do everything, do it men, like yes sir, to Seth right now. And then obviously the whole night with Sammy, everyone's talking to him, the whole Heyman thing, like this is the best decision for you, blah blah blah. And then Braun like eyeing out Sammy all night was just great. And then you go to the main event with Sammy and Seth in the ring, and then Sammy just pretty much says, "Go fuck yourself." And then I think that perfect timing for when Braun came out. It was just a close up of Seth, and then you just hear the sirens. I think it was just an all out perfect night. And then obviously after the match, it was the whole end him. Just a perfect night for this new faction, I think.
I thought that was really well done. How Seth was like, okay, fair enough. And then he's like, well, you know what happens. And then you hear the sirens and everyone in the crowd's just like, oh, here we go.
That was,
that's
exactly what I was going to say.
Weird. What was weird is that I don't know where did this like match come from? Like I thought it was really weird at first that Braun came out in his ring gear, and then all of a sudden after commercial there was a match.
During the backstage segment with Heyman and Sammy, Heyman says, "Now listen, Braun Breaker wants to fight you tonight if you don't accept." So I think that was it. Heyman,
that was conditional
Heyman,
on Sammy accepting or not the offer.
Exactly. Heyman has more power than I feel like he's ever had now. He's just wheeling and dealing right away. Maybe he's using all his capital early.
Well, I don't know. If Sammy took that offer, he'd be the number one contender right away.
Yeah, weren't we speculating how I had that speculation before WrestleMania about
Heyman had influence, but like, goddamn, Sir Heyman, you haven't even helped Sami Zayn once in the past.
I had that speculation before WrestleMania that night one could lead to night two as far as being inserted into the Cena Cody match. Of course, that didn't pan out, but we were all saying, well, does Heyman have that kind of power? Apparently so, when he wants to.
Apparently. Yeah, so I think they dropped the ball with not doing it there in WrestleMania. Do you think so?
Well, I mean,
this whole new faction if that was the case.
Yeah, we wouldn't be where we are at all.
Yeah, it's fair. I do love to think what you said, Slick, is so money with this faction. With Rollins, just the way he's gaslighting Sammy that whole last segment and just being like, Sammy, I'm doing this for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like this is for you. And he knows the answer he's getting, but he's just like, he's trying to appeal. It's so good. Seth's so damn good at this role. And then I agree. When the site, like, if that starts being a thing, that Seth is like dealing with a guy and he's out there first, he's like, I'm trying to reason with you, but he's not really. And then it's like, okay, guess I gotta bring him out then. And it's like the Punisher coming out. Yeah, like that's some shit, bro. That's some good business right there. So I loved every bit of it.
That's some good
now
shit
we've
right
all
there.
been speculating on maybe there could be the hashtag third man, but I think and I know Slick, I know hashtag sources, hashtag dirt sheets, but I think I was Fightful that came out and said that this was the original plan. There isn't a plan to add another member. It's just Braun and Seth at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I
fine.
can see it, and that's totally fine right now. I think we do need some explanation from Braun at some point, because right now I think I saw a meme where it was just like Rollins just looks like his very crazily dressed dog owner, and Braun just follows him around and barks while Heyman barks orders. So, I mean, like, it's not like we haven't heard Braun talk reasonably. He has the mic skills. I think we need an explanation from him. But you could work this for a while. I think there will be someone down the line. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, right now, if it works, don't fix it.
Yeah, I agree with the Braun. Go ahead, Rob. I agree with the Braun statement. I think it was I think it fits, and I think it's going to really help him. It's going to excel in this company. However, I think it was weird how like he was literally just the Intercontinental Champion like a week ago, and now he's like seems like he's like somebody else's bitch, like way down in the totem pole.
Don't let him hear you say that. He'll spear you into the next century.
That's a fair comparison, but he kind of graduated up to the main event in a way too, because he's going to be involved in like all the big angles. But I get what you mean, because he looks like if he's just not, and it goes into what you said too. So like if he doesn't come out in the next couple of weeks and like give his own reasoning and have his own original thought on why he did this, he does just kind of look like a punk, like you're saying, Rob. Like he needs the the explanation will kind of feed into it. That's the thing with this story. What makes it so great though is that we have so much material that they can. We still need answers from Braun. We still need a head-to-head promo again with like Heyman and Roman and Heyman and Punk, like after the beatdowns. Like there are so many different story points now that we can get to, and I don't know how they're going to get us to it, but Braun's explanation will definitely help. I think his standing in this faction among fans, like you're concerned with, Rob, because it is. I do agree. It looks weird, like that he was just a champion and now he's like not saying things and just like he's still awesome. We know he's awesome, but like the character, we need a character still.
I feel like he needs to leverage the fact that like Paul Heyman was a big part of this, pulling the string, putting these two together. If he leverages that to the common fan, it makes a lot more sense why a guy that probably has immediate world title aspirations now is just paired with Seth Rollins, even though he doesn't have to be. I think the Paul Heyman explanation is really good. And then if you could somehow like construe that into we want this company to be dominated by just us, like we each want one of the world titles and we want Paul Heyman like manning the ship while it flows through heavy waters. I could see that. I think that would be good. But I'm here for it, man. That's some faction and one of the more startling reveals of one we've had in some time. Really enjoyed that. Speaking of reveals, there are two superstars back on the block. It's Rusev Day yet again, and Aleister Black rose from the dead, I guess, to come like kick the Miz in the face. Kind of lackluster spots for both their returns, but both returns sick. Gotta pop. I want your guys' thoughts on just them being back, their creative plans, and what you want to see out of them. Partham, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, Miz was basically the stand-in for Cody Rhodes this time, white suit and all, but I thought it was short and sweet, and obviously the Miz is the standard gatekeeper for WWE at this point, even though Aleister Black, I should say, has been there before. Just a sort, they're doing a match with them, not at Backlash or anything, just next week. Just get Miz out of the way, nice 2-week introduction. I don't know where they go with Aleister Black after that. I was assuming he was going to be like a new member of Judgment Day and that he would initiate sort of a split or a change of leadership or something, but he's going to be on SmackDown, Judgment Day still on Raw. I guess it helps to have, Judgment Day's not really, the spooky faction anymore. They're just, the alt kids hanging out over in the corner. And Austin, I don't like Aleister Black is more so the gothy, dark prince type vibe to him. I don't know where they go with Aleister Black after this, but Rusev, he just looks to be a wrecker, and I loved his promo, which a little bit of the Redeemer vibe, but not, entirely the same thing. He's not talking about his flexible wife or addressing his God anymore. Now he's talking to the audience, and he's addressing everybody he's about to destroy along the way.
Yeah, I think it's exciting to have them both back. I really do. I don't know who this Aleister Black guy is, but I guess he's exciting. Maybe that's what he changed his name to after leaving the abyss, as Rusev called it on Monday. He kind of entered the abyss when he left WWE the first time, and now he's back to redeem. No chasing woman, no waving flags. He's only coming after the ignorant. It's kind of like the Prophet thinks about going after the ignorant. But I think Aleister Black with The Miz, I think it's a nice little touch to go after, just quick little thing to welcome him back. The Miz is an all-time professional. And then I don't know. I don't really know where either of them go. I kind of think Rusev may just be one of those guys who just wrecks everyone and leaves just every week and doesn't really have a storyline yet. Whereas Aleister Black, I don't know where he goes.
The intern's going to need to be fired for that one. Sorry, Micah, go ahead.
Interns just got to use some spell check. That's all right. We'll figure it out.
Ridiculous. I keep
ridiculous out here. The Redeemer. I've seen so many people like coming after AEW or WWE, both being like, "Why is Rusev?" It's like Rusev wants to do this, and I'm happy Rusev gets to do the character. It's at least part of his vision. I do like that it's more grounded in like reality and not just like talking about his. Although the promos were funny and they were entertaining, it didn't equate to great wrestling stories a lot of the times in AEW. And also both of these guys, their rumored unwillingness to, let's just say, cooperate in some storylines potentially could have hampered their runs as well. So hopefully it's different in this time. I think it will be. They're both really compelling characters, honestly, on television in their own right, and I think they both fit better in WWE, especially that first Rusev fights Otis on Monday. That match is gonna be awesome. Like that, we know that match is gonna crush. Now, Aleister Black getting Miz in the first match, tough, but I hope he kicks him in the head in like 3 seconds and wins. And then we get down to what's going on next with Aleister Black there. But I'm excited to see what they do because it's clearly a situation here where like Triple H thought highly of the both of these guys. We know like Rusev was one of the original NXT products coming in and had such an outstanding run as a rookie. And then they didn't really know. I mean, Rusev Day got really over, but as a serious character, they didn't really know what to do with Rusev a lot of the time. And then Aleister, the first time, was one of the more over, like, that was a baffling move when they cut him. So I think that both these guys are set up real well just because they have so much goodwill already built in.
Am I lagging? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, fair enough. So Rusev with, I'm happy for him. Like you said, Micah, if he wanted to do this character, it's like good for him. I had no problem with it in AEW. I thought it was good. And you had to be silly if you thought he wasn't getting through that entire promo with the same character arc without saying the word redeem. Like that was just gonna happen. My only ick with what he said, it's like people usually don't go to an abyss to redeem or find themselves unless you're Aaron Rodgers. No offense, Prophet.
I don't care. I don't like that guy anymore.
Like it just seemed a bit odd to me. That's where you go to like find this new version of yourself, and now you're okay, and now you have to take it out on everyone else. Bit odd. The Aleister Black return, in my opinion. I mean, like, I guess if like, I feel like the Miz. I don't know, man. Never been a fan of the Miz. They overdo like people coming and just whooping his ass for the pop. If that's all they had, I get it. Didn't fully do it for me, but I'm glad that he's back. Not only where his girlfriend is, I'm not sure, but just back
New
where he
US
originally
champion
was, and under Hunter's reign, Hunter's boy. So good to see them both back. But it is Wednesday, boys, and you know what that means. And there's rumors that AEW has some big matches planned, not only for All In Texas, also other PLEs coming along the line. I want some speculation.
PLEs.
All right, sorry, jeez. We've been talking Fed
You're
talk so
fully
long.
Indoctrinated. Damn, Slick.
Christ, dude. Hey, Max, I'm sorry that we're not there yet. If you're listening, please don't come after me. But big matches down the pipe. I just want to hear some speculation from you guys, what they might be. Obviously, Dynamite tonight. Haven't really looked at the card yet. I'm going to pull it up. But Mike, I know you're probably speculating already for All In Texas. That's going to be a big show. We'll get to it in a second. They also sold $16K for Grand Slam Mexico. Status AEW, Micah, and what they might have ahead. What do you think?
In the next run here, in the next couple months, we have Joe and Mox in Chicago at Beach Break. That feels like we're leading towards Anarchy in the Arena at Dublin.
Ooh, give me one of those.
I feel like we're not getting a Mox title defense there, and that match will end in Chicago in chaos, and it'll be 5-on-5 facing off. It'll be perfect time. Be like, okay, here we go. And that makes a lot of sense because then you put a lot of focus on the Owen finals with Mercedes versus Hayter and Hangman versus Ospreay. And those you can make compelling cases all around, I think, for all four of those competitors to win those matches. But I think the first stepping stone here is, unfortunately, whoever wants another shot at the Death Riders after Joe and hoping at Double or Nothing. I just don't see it happening. It feels like it's a perfect setup for Anarchy in the Arena. So I'm excited. It'll be a great match, but this mock stuff is going to All In for sure.
I'll just jump in real quick before you profit. Speaking of the big matches planned tonight, Kyle Fletcher, Hangman Page in the semifinals, the Owen Hart tournament. Main event, I'm assuming, is going to be Mark Briscoe, Speedball Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada, the Young Bucks, and Ricochet. What a sick combination for absolute no reason, right up Tony Khan's sleeve. And then the rest, Timeless Tony Storm, Miyu Yamashita. That's the only other match scheduled. Then we just have appearances from the Hurt Syndicate and MJF. You have to think they'll cross paths, but we might be in for some stuff we don't know about. But Prophet, thoughts on AEW and what they have going forward?
The Prophet's thoughts on AEW are very slim. You want to know why? Because, the people know that I fucked up. Wednesdays are also Survivor Wednesdays. And, the Prof loves Survivor more than the Prophet loves AEW. So sorry, but the Prof is currently what MJF would like to call a...
You fucking mark!
Well said, Maxwell. And we respect that, Prof. We know you're a seasonal guy when it comes to the all elite wrestling side of things, and that's okay. Parthy, what do you have?
Yeah, so I see some weird things going on with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate because I don't see where else they're going for All In other than MJF versus Bobby Lashley at All In. I don't think MJF is going to be joining the Hurt Syndicate, and even if he does, he's not going to be long for it. He's going to want to join the Hurt Syndicate just to stab them in the back almost immediately, if not, very soon afterwards, because he's been getting disrespected by Bobby Lashley left and right. Getting his car driven away, giving him all these women and they just walk off with him, and no thumbs up from Bobby Lashley. So I think MJF is going to say, screw it. If you're just going to keep disrespecting me, I'm going to, play with you and suck up to you just long enough where I can get that thumbs up. And then I go thumbs down on you. And possibly because I see, I think we all see where FTR is going. I think they're heading for a match with Cope and a reunion with a friend of his, Christian Cage at All In. But wouldn't it be a lot better if FTR were the tag team champions? Because I see a Hurt Syndicate versus FTR match happening possibly at, Double or Nothing? And I see MJF costing the Hurt Syndicate the tag team titles so we can get him on FTR. And that can initiate both MJF versus Bobby Lashley and FTR versus Cope and Christian.
MJF versus Bobby Lashley. I love going down that avenue. Obviously, it looks like it's going to go that way. It is
going to be one step further. One step.
It's going to be really quick. It's just going to be hard as hell to pull Christian out of this dastardly heel character.
We're going to have to do some finagling.
Go ahead.
Going back to, but one last thing. Parthy was speaking my language. Everything I was about to say, you were there, Parthy. You were right there. Just the one last part. They got to return to the pinnacle of professional wrestling. Those three. That's where I think this ends up.
And FTR are going to be in cahoots?
I think that's where we end up here. I think this Legend Killer gimmick will extend over to Maxwell, who started the year going after Jeff Jarrett, going after older wrestlers. I think it all comes together with those three.
The word pinnacle has come up once or twice just in passing, either by commentary or other people. So I see you there. I see you there. Also, one other thing I want to mention, has anybody seen Athena since she lost to Mercedes Moné? Not a peep out of her, not a word, not a mention on television. Yeah, I think I'm pretty convinced. I was before and now and even more. They're going to Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm at All In.
I hate to tell Partham when he seems like he's right, but I have come around to that as well without seeing Athena on TV.
It's very
I definitely don't think it's like Athena and Mercedes' last dance, based on especially the crowd reaction they got and how good of a match that was. There's no way. Didn't that main event too? The Boston show?
No, that was
opener.
Middle of the show.
Or middle. What was it?
Yeah, it was the middle. I think
middle of the show.
Yeah, it was the middle.
Yeah, okay.
Because it was the trios championship at the end.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Yeah, what a waste. But yeah, the crowd reaction, I definitely don't think that'll be their last time in the squared circle on AEW television or a pay-per-view. Who knows? Last topic we got, just real quick, we'll touch on it. AEW sold out the Arena Mexico, Grand Slam Mexico. AEW is coming 16K strong. CMLL combined AEW show right in the midst of WWE announcing this partnership with AAA. Just, I want your initial reactions. No more than that.
And history will bear this out. Someone will write a book about all this in the future, and I'm sure I will devour every single one of them. But it seems that it's possible that the announcement of this AEW show happened, and then WWE sped up the announcement for AAA. That's from the Lucha blog report. That's a guy who reported on Lucha for a long time, AAA, CMLL. So I'm not just pulling that out of nowhere. That's his understanding of the situation, but no one knows for sure. We're in a war here. These companies are going after free agents. They're going after the same bookings. They're going after everything. So yeah, it's exciting to see them getting some exposure into Mexico, and a show like this. Like, if you all have not watched a show at Arena Mexico before, Arena Mexico is like watching. It's watching a football game at Lambeau Field or like something like that. Like, that's what it feels like for me. Like, it feels like this is where wrestling should be happening. The grandeur, the spectacle, all that shit. If you love WWE for their spectacle, Arena Mexico, CMLL, it's all there. It happens. I mean, go look up Mystico's entrance from last year's Fantastica Mania. It's like god level, like insane entrance, production, everything. This is gonna be an awesome show. It's gonna be a great time, and it's great stuff to expanding into Mexico and getting exposure in that market and showing what these luchadors can do.
Yeah, I think it's definitely exciting. I think it's something WWE really, I mean, up until they got AAA, I really don't remember that many shows whatsoever in Mexico. Maybe like house shows and stuff, but like not a live TV or a PLE in probably like a very long time. So I think it's exciting, and it's pretty cool to see for AEW to finally, I mean, they sell out pay-per-views all the time, but to do it, and it's not even pay-per-view, to do it on a weekly show this early on, it's pretty exciting. Obviously, it's not going to show a trend or anything, but it's exciting for a one-off and something for building for the future for shows in Mexico and other countries.
That's a great point, Prophet. If they can keep this theme of the Grand Slams going to other countries, I know Australia didn't like hit it off too hard, but I'm assuming Mexico will blow it out of the water. If they can keep that up, it brings a whole other audience to these weekly televised shows that might not have been exposed to AEW prior. Parthy, what do you think?
I'm just going through the CML roster and trying to see if there's anybody I recognize, and no. So there's really nothing for me to touch on.
I just saved myself.
Who are these people?
I just saved myself the time because I think I'd end up in the same boat as you in that case.
That's what AEW Grand Slam will be for a lot of the audience tuned into the show.
For sure. I think people are very critical of when there's guys on AEW television you never heard of, and I get it when they're in big spots right away. Otherwise, though, it's dope to have new talent on your screen. I know they're overloaded with it, and that was a big problem at a point, but always cool to see an influx of new talent for sure.
Agreed.
All right. Sorry.
Before we head out, does anybody want to hear my thoughts on Dave McGregor's rant on The Rock and what The Rock said in response?
Yeah, I do actually.
It doesn't matter what The Rock says.
Just like that.
Who the fuck wrote this bullshit?
Any shout outs or sign offs before we go, boys?
That's amazing.
Dynamite in T minus less than an hour.
Shout out. Wow. Shout out Stoke. Look at that. Just
Stokely?
Shout out
Yeah.
Stoke. It's just Stoke, or is it Stokely now? Or it's just Stokely. No Hathaway. Big Stoke. Stokely.
Big Stoke.
I'm just happy to see him back on my screen. That was the best. I don't even know if that was last week or not, but I just saw Stokely popping up on my timeline today. I was like, God damn it! I'm so happy that you're back on TV.
Yeah,
bro.
I
So
missed
shout out Stokely.
that little bald man.
Yeah, I did too. Imagine, see, and that's the other part of my MJF theory. Partham is I'm pretty sure Stokely and MJF go like actually way back as like. Yeah, and like I'm pretty sure Stokely has origins from Creative Pro Wrestling.
They do go way back. Yeah, it's
Don't they have a little bit of beef because remember when MJF won that chip to grant him the AEW title match when he was coming out of the devil mask?
They do.
And afterwards he sort of said, "Oh, I got all those guys, the firm, whatever he called them, on retainer," and then they sort of kind of drifted away from each
Oh
other.
my God,
And
the
MJF said, "I don't
firm.
need you
forgot
anymore. I
about
got my
the
muchacho."
firm.
I forgot all about the firm.
The
Also,
firm.
isn't there also history right when MVP got to AEW? Did he not give Stokely a card as well, or something? I
Oh,
thought,
No,
I
we
think
hadn't
he
seen Stokely
did.
in a while since he was with Chris
or was
Statlander.
it like was it one of Stokely's like people or something? I don't know. I
I
think
thought he did. Maybe not though. Maybe
I
not.
thought there might have been a tie there. Either way, so many ties you can like put all these storylines together, and we're gonna find out a little bit more
Oh,
what they'll do.
by the way, of
No.
note, the whole John Cena thing, we finally got him running into R-Truth. You know that little segment's coming down the road.
Yeah, I hope R-Truth comes out with like a 24/7 title or something. That would be awesome. But we'll see what happens. Until then, folks, it's been a great show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Instagram. Thank you for joining us tonight on the show where it's not wrestling with your conscience. It's not wrestling with your budget. This is wrestling with emotion. A yeet and good